Today is Thursday, January 27th, and you've tuned in to the Tip-Off, where we tip you off on today's NBA matchups, how to gamble, how to bet. In honor of the late, great Kobe Bryant, we are flying the jerseys at half-mast today. All right, Gabe. Looking forward to the games today. Who's playing who?
6 games tonight. First up, we've got Cleveland traveling to Detroit to take on the Pistons, where the Pistons are favored by 6.5 points. Taking Cleveland. The Cavs have lost 7 in a row, and only 2 of those were by less than 12 points. But the Pistons have lost 15 of 21 as well. And they split the recent home and away matchup with Cleveland January 7th, January 9th, with a 2-point win and a 3-point loss. And moreover, it's Detroit's 5th game in the last 8 nights. They're probably going to be a little bit tired going with Cleveland here.
Cleveland and Detroit reminds me of the time we went around the league in 80 days, Gabe. Those were our first 2 stops, Cleveland and then we went on to Detroit for the next game. But as I understand, the Detroit arena where we went, there where they had the Auburn Hills Malice in the Palace event, they're not playing there anymore. Is that right, Gabe?
Yeah, they moved to the city.
They moved to the city. We're going to have to make a new trip to Detroit. Wish it could be tonight when they win. I'm betting on Detroit.
All right, next we've got Orlando traveling to Miami, short trip, take on the Heat, where the Heat are favored by 5.5 points. I'm taking Orlando. Long injury list for the Heat: Goran Dragic, Kendrick Nunn, Jimmy Butler, all listed as questionable. The Heat are 4-4 in their last 8, with losses to both New York teams during that stretch. Orlando, on the other hand, has lost 5 of 6. They're on the second night of a back-to-back, and they're playing their 5th game in 8 nights. But Orlando did beat Miami by 20 in their lone meeting earlier this month, January 3rd, taking the underdogs Orlando.
Well, it's good to see you having some faith in magic, Gabe. But the sun shines a little brighter in Miami, and the heat is hotter in Miami. So I'm going to pick the Heat no matter where they're playing.
All right, next we've got Dallas making another short trip to Oklahoma City to take on the Thunder, where the Mavericks are favorites on the road by 1.5 points. I'm taking Dallas here. Nerlens Noel is listed as questionable for the Thunder. Oklahoma City has won 5 in a row, and they beat the Mavs by 5 in their first game this season, December 31st, at home. But this is the 7th game in the last 11 days for the Thunder, compared to just the 5th game in the last 11 days for Dallas. Taking the Mavericks.
So Dallas is going to Oklahoma. We took that same route too after we watched Dallas, and we drove to Oklahoma. I'm telling you, very coincidental that Miami's going to Orlando. We made that trip also.
Orlando, Miami too.
Yeah, Orlando, Miami too. So it sounds like they're replaying our trip today in the. I'm going to just go with the home team today.
Thunder.
Yeah.
All right. Next, we've got San Antonio traveling to Chicago to take on the Bulls, where the Bulls are favored by 1.5 points. I'm taking San Antonio. They are going to be without LaMarcus Aldridge tonight, but the Bulls are dealing with way more injuries than San Antonio. It is the second night of a back-to-back for San Antonio and the 6th game in 9 nights. But Chicago is playing their 7th game in 11 nights, and I just think the Spurs are going to take care of business on the road tonight.
Bull. 7 is a lucky number, and the Bulls are going to win.
All right, next we've got Sacramento traveling to Minnesota to take on the Timberwolves, where the Timberwolves are favored by 3.5 points. I'm taking Minnesota. They have lost 9 in a row now, and it's their 7th game in 11 nights. But the Kings are 4-7 during January. Not so hot themselves, and Rashawn Holmes has already been ruled out as well. Also, Minnesota ended their 11-game losing streak earlier in the season against Sacramento back on December 26th, and they did that without Karl Anthony Towns, who should be available for this one. Minnesota snapping the streak tonight.
Kings.
All right, the finale. We've got Houston traveling to Utah to take on the Jazz, where the Jazz are favored by 11.5 points. I'm taking Utah. Russell Westbrook already ruled out for rest. Clint Capella is doubtful. And even James Harden, the Beard, is questionable. Also, the Rockets are on their second night of back-to-back. And the Jazz have been red hot lately, winning 14 of their last 15 and 19 of their last 21. Utah in the finale.
Questionable. Never question the Beard.
All right, you heard it here. It's been another episode of the Tip-Off, where one of us is always right. Thanks for tuning in.